I'm playing one season in each FIFA game, from FIFA 10 all the way to FIFA 19, and today we're playing FIFA 13. We didn't need to do a vote for today's team because we have unfinished business. We'll be staying at Malaga for a second season, and this time we're going for the title yet again. While I could see exactly why you wanted me to use Malaga on FIFA 12, the squad has only got worse on FIFA 13. Despite the ratings drop though, we've actually stayed the 5th best team in Spain. If you didn't watch the FIFA 12 episode, which I definitely recommend you do before watching this one, we finished in 2nd place, just 3 points behind Barcelona. We've carried over the signings of Ganso and Thiago from FIFA 12, and Ganso's dropped by 5 overall, and Thiago has dropped by 2. Hopefully that sets the scene nicely for what's going to happen in today's video. With the overall ratings drops, we definitely needed to strengthen our side even more. Thankfully, on FIFA 13, there's a lot of top-class loans available in Season 1. Rafael Varane and Alvaro Morata will both be heading to southern Spain, but we also wanted to spend big on a striker, knowing that's probably what cost us the title last season. We saw that Didier Drogba was available for a really cheap price, so we brought him to Spain and he's going to be leading our attack. Our team looks even better than last year, to be honest, and now we have the 3rd best squad in the country. Like always, I played pre-season, mainly to learn how FIFA 13 feels on the pitch, but this time it was mostly because I was just excited to use FIFA 13 Drogba for the first time in 10 years. It really didn't take him long to impress me. He basically dominated the entirety of pre-season, and before we knew it, La Liga was beginning with a game against Celta Vigo. I don't know if I can use the audio without getting a copyright claim, but having Kasabian playing before every single match really did get you hyped back in the day. That was probably the biggest throwback I had in the entire time that I was playing FIFA 13. But Drogba was also a bit of a throwback to how strikers used to be on FIFA. He could beat anyone in the air, his shots were like absolute bullets. I can already tell he's possibly going to be making the difference throughout this entire season. The first game ended 0-0, and that was mainly because we didn't create enough chances rather than anything to do with Drogba. When you play through him, this is what you get. Elisao playing in Drogba, and you know what's going to happen here. The first 3 games of the year went so much better than last season. By the time we entered the Champions League, we'd played 3 in La Liga and won 2 and drawn 1. We were unbeaten, but really, we know the first half of the season is all about the Champions League. This is Malaga's first season playing in the Champions League, or the Champions Cup as FIFA 13 calls it. This is also Florentino Toscani's first time playing in Europe. While we did have a tough group, Benfica were by far the easiest team, and we were playing them in the first and final matches of the group stage. FIFA 13 has the same problem some of the more modern FIFA games have as well, that when you play in the Champions League or the Champions Cup, the difficulty gets ramped way up. You'll be conceding the most outrageous goals in nearly every game, but thankfully, you can also score some pretty crazy goals, like this one from Thiago from the edge of the box, by far the best goal we scored in the group stage. The rest of the group went surprisingly well. Drogba was massive, both physically and performance-wise. He basically single-handedly won us 2 of the group stage games. It wasn't a perfect sweep, but somehow we qualified in 2nd place. The group stages took most of our time up, but also took a lot of our player fitness up too. We might not be doing as well as we thought we could in the league, but with Europe out of the way for a few months, we did start picking up results in both December and then into January as well. Inside January, we have to fight off big offers for Isco and Ganso, and by the start of February, we're back into the title hunt. Apologies if you don't like us skipping so fast through the first part of the season, but this gives us loads of time to cover the exciting part of the year. We have the Champions League knockout rounds, but we've also got 2 very big games coming up in the league. The first is against Real Madrid, a team that seems to actually have weakened since we played them last year. We also got weaker, but this time it was during the game. Rafael Varane started off what turned to be quite a bad injury crisis for the last half of this season. Of course, this isn't a time when there was only 3 substitutes in a single game, so that was actually quite a big deal. Thiago was also quite a big deal. What a nice finish that is, just finessing it straight past a 91 rated Iker Casillas. With us winning, that meant we were now only 5 points behind Real Madrid, who were in first place, and just 1 point behind Barcelona. This win would be absolutely massive. You might have seen there a glimpse of how bizarre this game can be. Real Madrid have a 94 rated Ronaldo that in real life got about 55 goals in the league this season, yet Luka Modric with just 13 is their top scorer. In fact, I was actually quite surprised how bad Ronaldo was to play against. We played against Messi earlier in the season, and both Messi, Xavi and Iniesta were all so much better than Ronaldo was against us. But Real Madrid were absolutely on top. As you'd expect, they've got a much better side. Of course, you could probably guess that, given that we've got some of their loanees actually in our starting 11. I was a bit confused when Essien came came on as a left wing, but his cross did nearly find the equaliser for Real Madrid. And with Casillas up in a 90th minute corner, Mario Gomez would actually get the equaliser. This was absolutely gutting. We had fought for this win for the entire match. We defended, they had so many chances that they wasted, and then right at the end, they had gone and equalised. It was also at this point that something bizarre happened. You might notice a lot of the team's names have just totally disappeared, and also we got a ton of injuries. I'm not sure if these are related. The game hadn't updated, nothing had changed at all, but all of a sudden every single team's name, for example on the league table, had just gone totally blank. With so many of our best players out injured, we had to pick a totally rotated team against Barcelona. It almost felt a bit like karma from last year, where they played a fully rotated team with no fitness against us. We went on to win, and we did nearly take the title from them, so maybe they're doing the exact same thing to us this year. It is a home match, and Morata does actually play a lot better than his stats suggest that he should. I'm not sure why FIFA 13 rated every single young player to have really low pace, really low stamina, and really low strength, but if I remember correctly, players never really developed these stats either in the game. You could get youth players, and if they didn't already have 80 pace, they would never get anywhere near being fast enough to actually use in-game. Morata kept winning his free kicks, but we didn't have anyone who could actually take them on the pitch. We borderline dominated the first half. I mean, Lionel Messi got a ton of chances, but he was doing things like that. I mean, it is his right foot, so maybe it's weak foot related, but it's still absolutely terrible, and you would expect him to score. Morata used his 65 pace to burst past Puyol. We got a couple of chances here. Elisau winning the ball, but he couldn't get the cross in at the back post. This was already starting to look like one of those games where you make a lot of chances, but then one mistake ruins everything. And that's exactly what happened here. We turned straight into Dani Alves, and that meant we needed to come back in the next half an hour with a rotated squad if we wanted any chance of winning the title. But Barcelona were just too good. You saw Messi there dribbling around 3 or 4 of our players. He would then dribble around another and nearly finishes off, but with 5 minutes of added time, I think you can already guess we went on to lose this game. Playing Real Madrid, the first round of a knockout game in the Champions League, and then Barcelona in the space of 9 days has absolutely killed our team, but we do still have the second leg. Maybe that's what will get our trophy in this season. Maybe we'll go for the Champions League with all of our attention focused on it. I mean, PSG are a decent team, but they're nowhere near as good as the Neymar, Messi and Mbappe team that have been playing more recently. Of course, they have Zlatan Ibrahimovic, who's already featured in 2 different seasons of this career mode series, and we know exactly how dangerous he can be. Well, PSG had the first attack, trying to give Ibrahimovic a chance super early on, but you can't give him early chances like we've just done there, and he's missed. That's more like the Ibrahimovic that I recognise from when we were AC Milan manager 3 or 4 years ago. But PSG were all over us in this game. We actually had quite a few of our injured players back. Ganso had recovered, Didier Drogba was back, we got Varane back in the team. We definitely had the potential to get into the quarters, maybe even the semi-finals of this competition. Thiago would pass it out to Iturra. He did the best pass of the season and Camacho dived on it, and that could easily have been an own goal. That's exactly what we need. A bit of luck in this game because PSG are all over the ball. You might have seen there 65% of the possession. We can't even touch it, and when we do, we need to make the most of every single second. So into the second half, Kevin Gamero turns. He's got Lavezzi ahead of him. Back to Gamero. Back to Lavezzi. Ibrahimovic isn't even involved, but that's why we needed Varane back in the team. He makes a massive difference despite being 19 and actually not that highly rated. Drogba got into a really good position. Surely. No, Sirigu gets there, but Buonanotte can't find the target. We needed a second Drogba there because you imagine that would have been 1-0. Well, PSG had one last attack. Gamero, he's got Ibrahimovic, Pastore and Lavezzi up there. Pastore finds Ibrahimovic. What a save that is from Kamini. And that's it. The referee's going to blow for full time. I thought this was going to go to extra time, but that's absolutely horrific. I actually forgot that away goals was a thing back then. This has possibly been the worst season of this mega career and maybe the worst season of any career mode I've ever uploaded. We've made so many mistakes, it's all gone wrong, but hopefully you still enjoyed to see me suffer on FIFA 13. It might have been a nice throwback, some nostalgia here and there, and if you've watched this much of the video, then I know you're not with me just to watch me lift trophies, so thank you for watching. I'll see you soon with FIFA 14, which I promise will be finally a successful season. Thank you and goodbye.